we are officially about 11 minutes past the normal start time. Scheduled this for 4 o'clock, and it's 11 minutes after. So we are 11 minutes tardy. So let me see if I can pull this up here. And a little moire going on this shirt. I had another shirt on, and the moire was really bad, and so changed the shirt, and this one still has some moire. I wish Sony would come out with some cameras without the moire issue. That would be very helpful to us. Duck voice. Okay, we're going to have to restart. We're going to restart everything. Sorry about this. This is a real delay.
Okay, we're starting live again after a reboot. We're going to see what happens. See here, I can't get this to reload.
That would be very helpful to us.
Let me know in the chat if we solve the problem. I'm listening to the old restart voice. All right, yes, it does sound good. All right, so we fixed the chipmunk voice. One commenter said, please keep the chipmunk voice. Problem is I did that one time, and then everybody else complained they didn't like the chipmunk voice. So that's how that works. And I don't know how it comes about. I really don't. I couldn't recreate it if I wanted to. Technical difficulties. As to the delay, I was optimistic scheduling this for 4 o'clock. I knew I was, and I shouldn't have. I should have scheduled it to 4:30, but oh well. This is how it works. At least you guys got to hang out a little bit in the chat. So, so here's the deal. I got another stupid comment. I want to go into that real quick first. This is a new segment on the show called Stupid Comments, and where I single out a commenter for being stupid. And that's how that works. And here's the thing with this channel. This channel is for people who are thoughtful, forward-looking, and want the true scoop. Want absolute transparency and honesty. That's what this channel's about. And so if we say something, if we make a statement of fact, like for example that this watch is fantastic, then that's true. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. Okay? That's how this works. And so with that preface, here's the comment. Okay. This is from Mandy Lion 24. Never trust somebody who puts a number after their name. Okay, so I find it interesting when people are narcissistic enough to believe that their own taste in anything is the one and only truth. If everyone had the same taste, how boring would this world be? Okay, let's stop right there. So if everybody had good taste, I think it'd be pretty cool, actually, to tell you the truth. So anyway, we'll go on from there. If every woman had the same taste in men, then you would be the loneliest man alive, my little brother. Well, how does he know I'm not the loneliest man alive? He doesn't know anything about my personal life, so he's making assumptions there. So that's not real smart right there, just making assumptions. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Not really, not most of the time. Most of the time that's not true. Also, just because you need a lightweight watch because you have never seen the inside of a gem and have your wife open the pickle jar does not mean that all men are soy boys. Okay, so here's the deal. I could probably twist open a pickle jar, just saying. Okay, so there's that. All right, so where's the rest of it go here? Okay, one of my favorite. It continues. One of my favorite watches is the AP Brick, and that feels absolutely perfect on my wrist. All watches, cheap, expensive, large, small, and in any shape and color are beautiful to someone out there. Well, I mean, it's not my fault if some people like ugly watches. I mean, yeah, duh. I mean, obviously, why would they buy them if they didn't like them? That's not my fault. That's their problem, not my problem. So I don't know why he's telling me this. What precisely makes you think that you are superior to these people? I just know that if they're buying ugly watches, that my taste in watches is superior to them. I'm not saying that I'm superior to them. I'm saying that they're buying an ugly watch. I mean, that should be pretty clear. This guy doesn't understand. I'm trying to be clear on this channel about things, and he doesn't seem to understand. I'll go on. I am lucky enough to own high-end pieces, but I would never shame my friends for wearing something cheaper or a style that is not for me. Well, I don't say anything to my friends about the watches they wear. If they want to watch this channel for advice, I'll give them advice, but I don't, in a social setting, I would never say something to them about their watch or insult them or something like that. I mean, that would be crass. Okay, so let's go on. Only a true narcissist believes that his or her opinion is the end all. No, I think somebody that, if they know what they're talking about, they would believe that their opinion is the end all. I mean, if I don't know something, I'm the first one to say I don't know. But if I know, I'm going to say, I'm going to give you the straight skinny. So there you go. So he shouldn't really watch this channel is the point. Look, I don't like the Beatles, but I would never say that the Beatles suck. Okay. They are brilliant songwriters who happen to have sound that does not speak to me. Well, maybe he likes Boston. If he likes Boston, then he's got good taste in music. Okay, by the way, Seiko is not high-end. APPP, RM, VC, so on, those are high-end. I've been talking lately about Grand Seiko, not Seiko, so I don't know where he's getting that from. I guess he's lumping Seiko together with Grand Seiko, which means he's clueless and has no idea that they're totally different brands and different watches made in a completely different way, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, he's clueless. Those are high-end. Just get over yourself and appreciate the fact that people have different taste. This is a fact that favors someone like you. And here comes the insult. My girlfriend threw up in her mouth a little bit when she saw you, but I'm sure your wife thinks you're a stud. That's a good thing, little brother, especially good for you. And see, here's the other thing, and this is the kind of guy that would probably never make a comment like this to my face, right? Because he probably would know that he might not be in the vertical for very long. But anyway, there's the stupid comment of the day. And I will buttress my positions by saying, and since he brought up Seiko, I'll bring up a Seiko, the SBDC007. The SBDC007 titanium Shogun, which I did this video on. It's got almost 800,000 views. And it is a fantastic watch. And in the under $1,000 category, I would say it's the best watch ever. And I did this video about it and telling why. And I'll just play a little bit of it here. And let me just skip forward where I show the watch a little bit. Here we go. You guys can check out the video. So they might start getting. But you can see the shape to the case, and it drapes on the wrist very nicely. It's just a gorgeous piece of work. Super comfortable, super durable, super legible. Like stainless steel than titanium. Anyway, I'll stop it there, but you guys can check it out. But that's a fantastic watch. Now, if he doesn't agree with me, he would be wrong. That's how that works, okay? If he doesn't agree with me, he would be wrong, because if he looked at those comments and he saw that a ton of people bought the watch and a ton of people responded back saying how they love the watch, it is objectively a fantastic watch, very comfortable on wrist, only knock, not super accurate. That's why I stepped up to the Grand Seiko Spring Drive. It really is. It's the reason why that watch is not still on my wrist right now. Now, this video was from 2013. Okay? 2013, I wore that SBDC007 for about 2 years. Loved the watch. It was in rotation with my Date 8 at the time. And it's a fantastic piece. Now, the other things we talk about on this channel, we talk about not having debt. And I had a guy chime in on Twitter the other day about, oh no, debt is useful. You can leverage. I can buy like 5 houses and borrow and mortgage them to the hilt and have the renters pay for them and so on and so forth. And yeah, okay, let's see how well that's going to work out for him long term when we have a little downturn in the market and when he's got some vacancies and so forth. we'll see how all that works out. May look good on paper, but might not work out good in the long run. But I digress. Let's get into the comments and see what you guys are saying. Am I right or am I right? Those are the two choices. Carlos is saying hello, and he's in Spain. Yeah, that's a weird issue. Okay. And Chi-Town, I always call it Chi-Town, but Chi-Town, I say neither. You can't get a glide lock sub at a decent price, and GS has insufficient clasp. I'd go for the Omega. I love this clasp. This clasp is fantastic. So you should try one of these for a while. You should actually wear a 231 for a while, and you will see the clasp is fantastic. Okay, so there you go. Now again, on this watch, it's always, the discussion is always about actually using these watches. And that's why on this particular topic for this show is summertime watches. What are good watches to wear in the summertime? Okay, and I'm going to make the argument for this watch and a few other possibilities for watches to actually wear. Okay, is this the same stupid comment we heard about in a previous live talk? No, this is a new one. Whenever I come in with a stupid comment, it's going to be a new one, Christian. And I'm keeping a log of them here. They'll have their date on them when they made the comment. Love coming home from work to watch the CraigShipp broadcast. I hope you're not driving down the road and watching. That would not be good. But anyway, be careful. Drive careful. He probably has a driver. That's probably how that works. He's probably got a driver, and he's watching, and he's in the rear compartment taking in the show. Fantastic. Good moves. Goodness gracious, gets Craig's marital status and forearm strength dead wrong and owns an ugly AP watch. My. Yeah, I think he was swinging. I think he had a few whiffs, a few swing and miss, a swing and a miss. I Chip and everybody. Darn, I missed the chipmunk voice. Well, I only had it for a few seconds there. It was epic. There you go. It'll be in the beginning of the show. We won't edit that out. And everybody's saying happy Friday to everybody. Yeah, it's a beautiful, happy day in the neighborhood. So, Lewis, hello. We need to include you in the next Bremont talk show. We want to change your mind on the brand. You're missing out. Well, there you go. I might be. Absolutely. I want to get one that's kind of a little bit thinner, though, on the wrist. One of the thinner ones. You also need, no, Tudor. No. No. Let's hold off on the Tudor situation. What do you think about the new GS SBGA231? Let's pull it up. Pull it up so everybody can see. Let's pull that puppy up. Da, 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 da. Okay, there we go. And let me see. I think this is one of the thin ones. Which for a dress watch is going to be fantastic. Let's see here. Yeah, see, it's 39 by 11.6 mils. And it's manual wind. I think it's got a 72-hour power reserve. That would be a great dress watch. I think it would be a great dress watch. I personally like a yellow gold dress watch myself, but I mean that would suit the need. Absolutely would suit the need. I think it's kind of cool. I give my approval, and it'll be super, super, super accurate. Let's see. Question, can you do an outline review on the 36 millimeter Rolex white grape, please? It's the one I'm considering at the moment, that or Panerai. 36 millimeter Rolex white grape. Can you give me the, Lewis, can you give me the model so I can take a look at it? so I can pull it up. If you can you squeeze out a model number on that one so we can make sure I get the right watch? Let me see. I'll do a search and see if it comes up. Oh, did I show that one when I was talking? I think I did. I think I showed the one we were talking about earlier. Sometimes I don't push the button. Rolex 36. White grape. Let's see if we can get this puppy up here. Yep, yeah. Images. I'm a fan of Oyster Perpetuals, period. I mean, they'd have to really screw it up to, I guess this is the dial you're talking about. Let me pull this up. It's not, I don't think that's a great photo. It's probably not real representative of what it looks like in real life. I would guess it looks okay. I would probably go with like a white dial, something more conservative. Oh, come on, all this crap popping up. Okay, we'll dial back on that. So I would have to see it in person. A lot of these photos that are coming up in the image search are like lousy photos. Here's one, here's Chrono 24. That looks a little bit better. Let me see if I can get this up on the website here and see. That photo looks a little bit better. Let me see what we got here. It looks like to me like you're losing some of the contrast. I'm not sure how readable that would be. I think I'd rather have like either a black dial or a white dial for me, just because my eyes are old and tired. But it probably looks stunning in person. I would see it in person, and if you really like the look of it, absolutely, you cannot beat an Oyster Perpetual. It's going to be nice and thin because it doesn't have that date wheel in there. It's going to be nice and thin on the wrist. I think so. Let's see, Carlos. I'm wearing a lot the Explorer 39 this summer. Perfect summertime watch. I use the Easy Link extension almost every day, and it's perfect for me. Well, there you go. That's right. You want a quick extension in the summertime. That's why I like this clasp. It's so easy to extend and then to contract without even taking it off wrist, which is a big plus, because if you're out and about in the summertime, you could be in a dangerous area. Somebody might try to grab and run with your watch, so that you don't really want to be taking your watch off wrist under any circumstances. Really, you could drop it. There's a whole lot of things that can happen that are not good when you take your watch off wrist. I've had friends take their Rolex off, this was years ago, take their Rolex off wrist and put it somewhere safe. And then when they went back to get it from that safe place, it mysteriously had gotten legs and walked off. Rolexes have a really, unique trait. They can actually grow legs, and they can actually be in motion. Let's see here. Explorer, great summer watch. Loving mine this summer. Easy Link is a godsend at the moment. Yeah, there you go. An Explorer, another really good option. Wristwatch check for today, gents. Wearing my 43 millimeter Vermont. There you go. Need to get rid of the Tudor. Yeah, the Tudor needs to go. And there's the model number. But yeah, I think we showed it. Yeah. So the 2019, is that the first year they had that? Hello, Craig from Bogota. I love your show. Keep the great content coming. There you go. Cesar in the house. Well, thank you for watching from down in the southern part of the area here. Let's see, a Tudor auto prints for today. Jeez. Nice. Oyster is okay, got it. The blue face, the Explorer dial. Yeah, that is fantastic. That is a gorgeous watch. I agree with you on that one. And the neat thing about the Oyster Perpetual is I believe it's thinner. I believe it's a little bit thinner than the Explorer. Correct me if I'm wrong out there, but I think it might be. which is always a good thing. My wife's summer watch is a great Oyster Petrol 26. Okay. And Carlos, let us know, that dial in person, it looks probably a lot better than the photos that I showed, I would assume. Let me know in the chat. I have a new black Rolex Oyster Petrol 39, 114300. Love it for the summer. Yeah, absolutely. It's a summer theme show, tactics through airport security. How many watches travel? I would only travel with one if you can get away with it. If you're going to be dressed, let me go back and do a time check here. If you're going to be dressed, if you're going to have to dress different ways, in other words, if you're going to have to go to some events where you're going to be wearing a long sleeve, you're going to be dressed up in a suit and tie, things like that, then you're going to need a watch that's thin enough to be an all-arounder. So let me show you a really good option. We've talked about this many times on the show, the Yachtmaster 40. That watch is extremely versatile in that it is 11.6 millimeters thick, so it's nice and thin, and 40 mils, and so really that could be forced into any kind of situation, any kind of sports situation, obviously, and any kind of dress situation. So that could be one of the most versatile watches out there for a situation where you might need to be use the watch under various circumstances when you're traveling. And I do not recommend traveling with more than one watch. I think that's risky business. I think it's another good way to lose a watch is to have one on wrist and one off wrist when you're traveling. Let's see here. What would be the best summer watch? Rolex Pepsi, 16710 Daytona, or Rolex Sky Dweller? I'd do none of the three. I mean, of those three, I would go with the Pepsi. Definitely the Pepsi. More versatile, easier to read than the Daytona. And I just don't like the Sky Dweller that much. And it's too thick. It's too thick for an all-around summer watch use case. So I would go with the Yachtmaster. I'd add that to the list if you want something sporty. I think it's fantastic. I love the grape dial on her, and she loves it too. Well, there you go. Just get yourself a DATEJUST 36 or Oyster Petrol 36, folks. You can wear it on the beach and the dinner. Ideal vacation. Well, absolutely. That's an all-arounder that you can wear under any circumstances. A GMT2 is my travel companion. Yes. It's nice. It's more trim. This is what a lot of people don't understand about the GMT. It's a little more trim. It's a little bit thinner than the Submariner. So it's much more versatile, especially if you get the GMT2 with the Jubilee bracelet. That's how I had a GMT. I had them both ways. I had a Coke GMT2 that had the Oyster bracelet on it for years, and I had an all black GMT that had the Jubilee bracelet on it. Let me see. I think I even have a picture of that one. Let's see here. Let me pull up GMT. Whoops. See if I can find it. Wow, I've got 82 photos of GMTs because I've added a bunch of photos of the Grand Seiko. That's why. So I got to sort through these. Speaking of a GMT, Grand Seiko, pull that up while I'm finding this photo. Everything is loading slow. Oh, maybe I do it a little differently here. Okay, here it is. Here she blows. Can't really see it. Let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit. Yeah, there I am with a very, very smug look on my face, wearing the GMT2 all black with the Jubilee bracelet. And again, not a real good photo because, it's an old photo that I took a photo. I took a photo of an old photo. Let me see. Let me go to original here and see if we can zoom in more. I don't know how grainy it's going to get. We zoom in. There we go. It's grainy. It's grainy, but it is what it is. This is when you have to go back to the early 80s. That's what happens. I think that was taken in around 83 or 84-ish. Let me see if I have a date on here when I uploaded it. 1984, I said, circa 1984. So yeah, that GMT2 all black with a Jubilee bracelet. That's what that was. Let's see. And then some guy says, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He never had any Rolexes, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, right. I had Rolexes before you were freaking born. So that's how that works. What are the thoughts on a two-tone Rolex date 15233 being 34 millimeters or too small for the average male wrist? When you say average, what size wrist? Give us the size, because if your wrist is 7 inches or bigger, I would probably stick with a 36, really, personally. If you've got like a 6 3/4 inch wrist or something like that, or a 6.5 inch wrist, I think the 34 might be cooking for you. Might work. Let's see here. I've heard of people having their luxury watches almost taken by customs. Should I ever actually worry about that happening? I don't know. That's a good question. I think if you are otherwise dressed nicely, see, what customs and people like that are looking for are things that are out of sorts, things that don't look normal. Like let's say you're dressed like a total bum and you've got like a solid gold Rolex on. It raises more questions, right? Whereas if you're real well dressed and you've got a real nice attaché case and your luggage is nice, everything's high quality, you've got a nice address on your ID, from a nice zip code. If everything seems copacetic, right, they're less likely to question anything. Okay, that's just the way it goes. That's just human nature, right? If everything looks normal, looks natural, they're good to go. But if you look like a total bum and you've got like an 18-karat gold Rolex on, they might start asking some questions. Some things might start going a little sideways. So, and if you bought it new somewhere and you're talking about like tariffs and things like that, or other fees, I mean, it's best to send the box separately, right, or something. Don't have the box in your luggage and you're wearing the watch and then they act like, where'd you get this watch? And then you start like telling stories and getting all kinds of a trick bag. But I'm not an expert on all that stuff, but I just say try to keep things looking normal if possible. That grinder who made that dumb comment doesn't do a good job dispelling the stereotype of Royal Oak owners being a-holes. Somebody says you look the same. No, I don't quite look the same, but thank you very much. That's kind of you. The 40 years has not been terribly kind to me, but I guess I try to take care of myself as best I can. That's what all we can do as the ravages of time take their toll. A pre-ceramic sub is a great choice for the summer. Beautiful case shape and size, not like the latest chunky ceramic. Absolutely. Better shape to the case. Even on the sides of the case and everything are better shaped, more comfortable on wrist. Anything pre-super case is going to be more comfortable on wrist in the summertime. Comfort on the wrist in the summertime, I think, is more important than any time because we're doing heavier activities. We're very active. We're moving our wrist around a lot. And if you don't have that comfort factor, an overly chunky watch or an overly heavy watch or an overly sharp edges, uncomfortable watch, everything is going to be exacerbated in the summertime. Everything's taken to a higher level as far as the lack of comfort. So I think it's even more important to have a comfortable watch on wrist in the summertime for that reason. Christian in the house, look at that forearm. Well, the guy making the comment said that my forearms are weak. I got to start doing some exercises, you know. That's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to work out a little bit, do some isometrics like this, you know. That's what I'm going to have to do. Taking that to heart. If he stepped to me, I'd probably grab his throat, and that'd be it for him. About 2 seconds. He'd be down quicker than the HMS Hood when the Bismarck hit that puppy. Went down in about 2 seconds. But the Bismarck, they got theirs a couple days later, so that's how that worked. I just watched a documentary on that. That's why that pops into mind. What do you think about Pluto? Pluto's an entertainer. That's what Pluto is. He's an entertainer. I think he's funny. Funny guy. I got nothing against Pluto. I wouldn't do a business deal with him, but yeah, I think he's a funny guy. Pluto is always negative. Hi, Craig. What's your opinion of the 42 mil Rolex Explorer 2? I think it's okay. I mean, the only reason that I tolerate this bigger watch, this one's 44 mils, is because of the lug design and the case design and the weight of the titanium. It's super comfortable on wrist. Otherwise, with a steel watch, I hesitate to go over 40 mils. I think I would, with a Rolex steel watch, I think I would stick with 39 or 40 mils, personally. I wore GMT Masters for many years that were 40 mils, and it just worked good for me. Now, that's also going to depend on your wrist size. If your wrist is a bigger wrist, 7.5, 7 3/4, something like that, then maybe go for the bigger one. But for me, I would probably stick with a 40 mil Rolex sport watch, and I'd probably go for the one we talked about earlier. Let me pull it back up here. This beautiful Yachtmaster. That is just a gorgeous watch. Only thing I don't like about this watch is these polished center links on the bracelet. And I can put up with that. Because of all the other great things it's got going for it. The beautiful case design, that stunning bezel, that stunning blue dial. Yeah, that's a home run sport watch if you ask me. Let's see here. Okay, and Explorer 2 is a ripoff. We got a comment on that one. There you go. Well, I don't mind watch brands using good cues from other watches. There's a perfect example. If it works, it works, and they put their own spin on it, and, you know, a wheel's round, right? For a reason, because it just works. So certain things work, and I don't mind them using it. We talk about Tudor. Some of the older Tudor Submariners that had the Mercedes hands on it, they look great. And then they put those funky Tudor hands on stuff, and it just looks like garbage. So sometimes, yeah, use the stuff. Use what looks good. Don't worry, Craig. The smug face hasn't changed. Only this time it's a GS on your wrist instead of a Rolex. Yeah. I can't even do that same. I can't even do the same smug look. Oh boy. Yeah, I was even a bigger jerk back then than I am now. I mean, we were real pieces of work back then. It was not good. Yeah, we were really bad. We can't even get into all those stories. Thoughts on Hamilton watches? I think some of them are pretty cool. I have not had any experience with them, so I'm going to pass on giving any in-depth, but I think they make some cool stuff. Wear a day date every day? Absolutely, you can wear a day date every day. Day dates are heavy-duty sport watches. You can wear them anytime, day or night, absolutely. Especially the newer ones now with the ceramic pins and the bracelets and all. Good to go. They're good to go. They're heavy-duty watch. They can take a lot of abuse. Summer never ends in Florida, so comfort is always important. There you go. Well, when I go down in the wintertime down to Sarasota, it can get nice and cool. We have a lot of cool, 70s are like the highs in the wintertime, so it's beautiful down there in the wintertime. And when I say winter, I'm talking like December, January, February, March, like that. Really nice down there. Asked the grinder if he bought his 8P at the same place he bought his off-brand potato chips. Jeez, that poor guy. He's got all kinds of issues. Get the Explorer if you want it. Well, yeah. If the Explorer fits, hey, if it fits, go for it. Alkaline water again. Yeah, this is right out of the well water. That's good stuff. Good stuff. And it's tested often because this is the same water that the president gets at Camp David, so that the water's tested often. Let's see. Thanks, Vegas. In doubt, okay. You'll gain an extra day in 3 years, okay. There's plenty of Explorers out there at ADs. One will come around. The Oyster Perpetual is a great watch, but it's no Explorer. They're pretty good. I don't know what you mean by it's no Explorer. I mean, you could probably use it for the same kind of purposes. It's probably every bit as rugged. I don't think you're gonna have any problems with Oyster Perpetual. Don't think so. Do you use Windows? No. This is a Macintosh computer. If that's what you mean. No. And my main workstation is also a Apple. I've got two workstations here that are both Apple. One's a MacBook Pro and the other is a Mac Pro. Those are my workstation and my backup workstation. I always have a backup just in case I have a problem. Let's see. People need to realize this is a realistic and practical channel. We don't care how close is a design to another. Okay. Well, this is a realistic and practical channel. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Which measurement do you consider the most important on a watch when trying fit and feel? I think it's not necessarily the measurements as much as the shape of the case, the drape of the bracelet. I like bracelets personally. So the bracelet has to be very comfortable, this has very well finished, rounded edges. Okay, very, very, very comfortable. And like even the case, any parts of the case that touch, like when you go like this, the sides of the case and all are going to touch your wrist, right? They need to be nice and rounded and nicely finished. See, the super case is very sharp, right? And so all these things lend to the comfort or lack thereof of the watch. So you really have to have it sized and try it on and really move your wrist around, really test it. If the AD or whoever you're buying it from will let you wear it around the store for an hour, wear it and really get the feel for it that it's going to be comfortable on wrist. It's really the whole deal. And of course this, because of the titanium, I can get away with wearing a much bigger watch. This wears more like a 40. This is a 44, but it wears more like a 40 just because of the titanium. And the titanium, the thermal properties and all also help with comfort, especially in summertime. So it is hard to beat this sucker. And like I say, I learned about it from the SBDC 007. I learned about it from this watch. It's got a little more grayish look than some of my stainless steel watches, but most people would look at this and would think that it is stainless. And I wore that for 2 years, and it was just exceptionally comfortable on wrist. And then this is just like an upgrade from that. This is just like taking it all to another level. So that's how that worked. I'm all about realistic. That's also why we need to talk glycine more than Rolex when giving credit for an awesome design. Okay, there we go. I owned a Hamilton khaki. Worst watch I've ever owned. 6 months on wrist, developed condensation under the crystal. Uh-oh. Well, there you go. There's a report from the field. So that's what we get. We get real-time reports here on things. Somebody was timed out. Was somebody being mean? Yeah. I'll go ahead and read his comment. Hey, clown, you really need to find something better to do. I have a lot of hours in the day. There are other things that I do, if you're talking to me. But better thing to do than hang out with my friends here? No, I don't think I can find something better than that. These guys are fantastic. The Wrench Gang, they are fantastic. They are the best in the business, the official Wrench Gang. There you go. No easy link on Oyster Perpetual, Craig, plus a few movement differences, but I'm no Tim. Yeah, I understand the easy link thing, and that's the other thing is I would definitely be sure to get one with micro adjustments. Some of the Rolex clasps have like 3-position micro adjustments, and some don't. Like some of the Jubilee bracelets, for example, have the micro adjustments and some don't. The hidden clasp ones, for example, don't. So that would definitely be the easy link I can live without, but I need those micro adjustments. Okay, I need to be able to quickly and easily do that small micro adjustment, especially in the summertime. When you get into the hotter weather, you need to adjust it out. I don't necessarily on all my watches need to be able to adjust on the fly like I can with this. I mean, that's an unrealistic expectation, but the micro adjustments, I definitely that would be a deal killer if it didn't have those. And I think some of them do and some of them don't. So I can't keep up with all the nuances on the Rolex bracelets because they've been changing them fairly frequently. Let's see here. I wouldn't buy a Rolex steel sport watch because I couldn't try one before buying. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Very good point. I bet you there are a lot of people that have bought watches and that later realized that, man, this was kind of a mistake. Now, the good thing about getting like a Submariner or a GMT or something like that, you can get out of those. You can. They're so hot and so popular that you can get out of them, even if you pay somebody to sell it for you, like, you know, an AD or Steve at Little Treasure or something, have somebody sell it for you, Chrono 24, whatever. You're probably going to be able to make some money. So you're not going to get stuck with that watch. But if you bought a watch that's not so popular, not so easy to sell, it would be very sad to buy it and wear it for a month and realize, darn, I really don't like this thing. So yeah, that can be a definite issue. That's such a big advantage to buying like a Grand Seiko or something that's in stock, where you can try it and experience it. That's a very good point. Let's see here. Craig, would you buy a gold GS diver? Seems like a dream combination. I would rather see them come out with something to compete with a Date 840. I think that'd be cool. But I won't hold my breath on that. But a gold GS diver, that would be kind of interesting. I'd have to admit, that'd be interesting. But see, again, a lot of the benefits of this watch is the titanium. That's a lot of the benefits of it. So there you go. Personally, I feel the 36 millimeter Explorer wears very large on the wrist as there is no bezel, it's all face. The 36 mil is a sweet spot with the Explorer. There you go. I think I would go for 36 on one of those myself, personally, too. But I haven't tried the 39, so. But having a larger dial, I mean, like, for example, this one here, that has a nice large dial. That's a plus for me, for folks like, you know, with older eyeballs, that's a 39 mil. It's about 12 mils thick. That is a plus for the older folks like me. You youngsters, you know, the 36 is fine, trust me. You got good eyes, the 36 is fine. 36 Explorer is a great watch, but I'm 6'4", 275, plus I prefer the more solid bracelet and clasp. I'll tell you, for Vegas, I really think the Yachtmaster would look fantastic. Let's pull that up again. I think that would look fantastic on Vegas's wrist. We'll get a moment of silence for that Yachtmaster 40. There you go. That's what I think. I normally rock the Snizzle out of the new 2018 Omega Seamaster 300. It's super value, fits almost perfect, and when I go diving, it's there on my wrist. Absolutely. Well, you want to watch, for summertime use, you want a watch that can take anything. That can take anything you can throw at it. I mean, heavy duty is the watchword of the day. We want something that, you know, you don't want to have to take that thing off wrist when you're going in the water. And in the summertime, you go in the water a lot. So absolutely, it has to be able to take that abuse. And again, a day date 40 will take that abuse. Carlos could wear his white gold day date and, you know, in and out of the pool, in and out of the jacuzzi, you know, whatever. It's not going to hurt that day date. Let's see here. Oh, no, don't mess with Vegas. Well, don't mess with anybody in the wrench gang, Carlos. I mean, you're not exactly a tiny guy yourself. I mean, anybody in the wrench gang can take care of themselves. I mean, that's why they're part of the wrench gang. They can take care of themselves. That goes without saying. Chi-Town, the DATEJUST 36 really is a great watch. The 41 feels like a flapjack on the wrist. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the 41. I haven't liked that at all. The 41 DATEJUST just doesn't seem right to me. We're getting a good show. I love it. Well, thank you very much. Vegas says big softy. Okay. 30, yeah, until you get on his wrong side. Yeah, I'm sure. 39 millimeter for Vegas Milgauss. Yeah, the Milgauss is a little bit thicker, and if you don't need that anti-magnetic stuff, I would skip on that just because of the added thickness. What do you think about the Seiko Monster watch, SRP 307? I've never had one. If I was going to go Seiko, I would definitely go to the SBDC 007 Shogun. That's where I would go again. The SBDC 007 is just such a cool watch. Love from Japan, really enjoying your content. Well, thank you very much. Japan in the house. What about showering dive watch daily? No, you're just going to get some soap scum on it, especially if you're traveling. I would definitely keep it on wrist all the time. I wouldn't take it off and set it on the table and then go in the shower and all. You never know what's going to happen when you're traveling. Other people are around, that different things can happen. So, yeah, I think wearing it all the time, including in the shower, I think you're good to go. Any of these heavy use watches we're talking about, that we've been talking about, can handle just about anything you can throw at them. And I don't buy this, well, soap is hard on the seals and all this stuff. Just rinse it good afterwards. Just rinse it good. It's going to be fine. It can handle it. It's designed to take a lot worse. Let's see here, New Hampshire wind turbine technicians checking overtime Friday. There you go. What are your thoughts on Rolex sport watch shortage? Well, I think at some point we're not gonna have a shortage anymore. I think it's gonna go away. It might be a year, it might be 2 years. I don't know, but at some point I think things are gonna go back to normal, and I think a bunch of speculators are gonna get caught holding a bunch of watches. These people that are buying up these watches and investing in them and holding like several Pepsis, and they've got the Batman, the Pepsi, they've got the Kermit, they've got them all, right? They've got a couple of Daytonas, they got all the hard to find watches and a couple of each, right? And because they're investments and all this, some of those guys are, I think, going to get a rude awakening when the market returns to normal. I'm not going to say it's going to crash, but when things go back to normal, which means you can get a discount new, which means if you sell it used, you're going to lose 20 or 30%. That's normal. This is abnormal. The situation we've been having the last couple of years, this is abnormal. And it is not going to last forever, I don't think. I wouldn't bank on it. I wouldn't put a bunch of money in watches and be betting on it. I'll put it that way. So that's my thought process on that. And my thought process is watches aren't investments anyway. Just buy your watch and wear it. Buy a nice watch, wear it, and enjoy it. That's why you buy a dive watch, so you don't have to take it off your wrist. There you go. And some guy says on one of the other idiot comment read the other day, oh no, you can't wear it all the time like that. You can't do this, you can't do that. You can't brush it with, clean it with a toothpaste and toothbrush and all. You're going to scratch it and all this stuff. Give me a freaking break. I've been doing this for 40 freaking years. You're telling me I can't do it? My watch looks fine. It looks fantastic. No, you can do whatever you want to these watches. They're pretty damn robust. And then the guy, who's the guy with the British accent? Let me go to my history so I can tell you. A good guy. I mean, I like this guy, but let me pull it up here. You guys know this guy. You know who I'm talking about. I'm just gonna go to it real quick here. Go to my history because I just watched a little bit of his video. And I'll show you who I'm talking about. For those of you who don't know, Paul Thorpe, pull up this video here.
You haven't seen the sun in like forever,
skip the ad
so
here
you
in a
search for a
second.
beach
Just give me a
vacation.
second here.
Sunny beaches, sandy beaches, big beaches, small beaches.
Yeah.
To make this video and to bring this to you. And before we go any further, from a legal perspective, look.
Okay, so Paul, I mean, he's cool. Oh, I wasn't showing it to you. I'm sorry. Let me go back. I'll show you too.
Everything
This is Paul
I
Thorpe.
tell you on my channel is my opinion. I don't pretend that it's factual.
So I would definitely subscribe to his channel. I think he's cool. He makes a lot of good points. I watched one of his videos the other day about like if you're buying a watch, what things to look for and all that, and how to get a loop and how to use the loop and all that. And he went into like all this time about saying you don't do this with a watch. Watch what I'm going to do right now. You don't do that, right? You don't do that with a watch because the bracelet, this part of the bracelet is going to scratch the back of the watch. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I really care about a little tiny scratch on the back of my watch. Okay. I mean, some of this is just taking this stuff too far, folks. I mean, it really is just taking it too far. First of all, if you just set it down carefully and you set it down on the bracelet like that on a desk or something, I mean, whatever scratch you're going to get is probably going to be virtually imperceptible. I mean, now if you slam it down or something, I can understand it, but sometimes these people take this stuff a little bit too far, is all I'm saying. It's all I'm saying. To me, there are other more important things I can worry about than whether or not I set my watch down on top of the bracelet, right? But that could just be me. So if you want a watch that's totally scratch free, that is mint condition, that's been in the box since it was bought, with all papers, with the tags still on it and everything like that, don't buy it from me, because the watch you're going to buy from me has been heavily used. you talk about a used watch. Yeah, that's what you're going to get from me. But it's going to be a stunner, and this one keeps fantastic time. I mean, fantastic freaking time, right? Because I don't put up with watches that don't. They're out the door. That's how it works around here. Let's see. Let me read a few more of these comments, and then we're going to wrap this puppy up. What's the best cheapo watch? Well, tell me the price. You might have to go with like an Iron Man or something. Before I knew better, I would put my Rolex Daytona in the dishwasher on hot, soapy wash. Well, it might be able to handle that, Steve. I don't know if that's going to hurt it. I do hand wash my watches. I'll say that. I don't put them in the dishwasher, but they might handle that okay. That's good. The Milgauss is the truly special watch of Rolex when they made something really original with a unique design. There you go. If alpha males are too afraid to wear their Rolexes, then we are doomed. I love it. Chi-Town. I'm going to keep calling him Chi-Town, though. I like Chi-Town better. He comes up with the good ones here in the chat. You guys got to pay attention to what Chi-Town says in the chat. That's how that works. Stainless steel is much harder than human teeth. I guess so. I think so, Matt. Well, what it does is it gives a shine. It gives a shine. Next time I clean this, you'll see what I mean. It really just makes the watch pop. And it did for my Date 8. Whenever I do that with the Date 8, it would like make the whole watch just kind of pop. Sort of like when you brush your teeth, it makes them shine a little bit, but not mine, but people that have decent teeth. So that's how that works. Yeah. I use my Kermit every day and love it. Back in 2008 when I bought it, I never thought it would go up so much. There you go. And remember too, though, all these asking prices, these super high asking prices, that doesn't mean that's money in your pocket. You still got to find a buyer and sell it, and you still got to successfully do the deal and hope something doesn't go wrong and blah blah blah. There's a lot of potential issues when you're selling a watch. Paul Thorpe is a well-respected dealer here in the UK. Yeah, he's a cool guy. I think Paul Thorpe is cool. Yeah, if it's a Rolex you are going to flip, Paul has 40 years as a dealer. People don't want a scratched case back. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't buy watches to flip. I buy watches to wear, so it doesn't bother me if there's a couple little scratches on the case back. But yeah, if you're buying watches as an investment, which again I highly do not recommend, and they're safe queen, they're in the box or whatever, absolutely keep it mint. Do not wear it, do not pass go, do not handle it without gloves, all those things. Good luck with all that working out too. There's a lot of broke people that have invested in things like watches and found out in the long run that it's not the way to go. But some people have to learn that the hard way. Let's see. The Milgauss is quirky. I love it, but totally understand the criticism it receives. I like the spring drive. It's a tad chunky. Yeah, the only way to get a thin spring drive is these latest manual wind ones are pretty trim. This one's a little bit chunky. 14 mils. This is as thick as I would go with a sport watch. And again, because of the shape of the lugs and the drape of it and everything, it works. It really does. It's very comfortable. If it wasn't, it wouldn't be on my wrist. I would have gotten rid of it a long time ago. I wouldn't have bought it in the first place because I tried it on at Little Treasury, and I wore it around the store for a while, and I made sure before I bought it. It's a little bit thicker than the SBDC 007 Shogun was, but it's very similar in a lot of ways to the Shogun as far as the comfort on wrist. The Shogun might be a little bit more comfortable because of linen. It's a little bit thinner. I think it might be 42 mils or 43. I think it might be a little bit smaller, and it's definitely thinner and lighter weight, even lighter weight than this. It's titanium with the DiaShield coating on it. Let's see. You're right, Craig. You have to wear it and enjoy it. Otherwise, don't buy it. I agree. He spoke about way of handling the watch when appraising it. Exactly. Well, he was also talking about dealers, when dealers are showing it to you and all, that they'll set it down on the counter, on top of the bracelet. And I agree. I mean, if you're in the business and you're selling somebody a watch, you should be taking care of it. I mean, you shouldn't be abusing the watch. And it's a good point. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a good point. I'm just saying, like, for me, I'm not going to lose sleep if I set my watch down on the bracelet. I've got much more pressing things to worry about than the bracelet, the watch setting on the bracelet. I dropped my damn watch, excuse my French, I dropped the GMT twice already. I don't think I'm going to drop it anymore, but I've dropped it twice, and it so far, I mean, it still looks great. It didn't look like it picked up any dings or anything. I dropped it from like almost 4 feet. Yeah, so that's worse than setting it down on the bracelet, I think. Oh my gosh, my watches sometimes get some hard use. I hate to admit it. 100 to 500, what would you recommend? A used eBay Grand Seiko quartz. Well, if you can pick up a Grand Seiko with the 9F in the $500 range, that'd be pretty good. Yeah. From a reputable seller in good shape, that would be a good buy. I don't think you're going to get one for 100 or 200. I think you're going to have to be at the more towards the higher end of that scale, 400 to 500. I think you'd get lucky there. You might be able to get the SBDC 007 Shogun for 500, a used one. That would be interesting. SBDC 007, the Shogun. See if you could get one of those for 500. Paul Thorpe was talking about appraising a watch before purchasing. He was advising you to hold it so that the metal doesn't touch the metal because jewelers don't appreciate stock being mishandled. I agree. Well, he also talked about some jewelers set it down like that because they don't know what they're doing or whatever. And I agree. I think that people should, especially if it's not your watch and you're thinking about buying it, you should respect that watch. It's not your watch, right? And not until you bought it. So yeah, I think it's all good. I just say that sometimes people take some of this stuff a little bit more seriously than maybe they need to, is all I'm saying. So, but I buy these watches and I just buy them as a watch to wear and use. So I'm coming at it from a completely different perspective than people that are looking at them as an investment or a collection or whatever. I'm looking at them as pieces of equipment, of gear that I actually use. So that's a little different outlook, different perspective. Especially for a display back. Well, those are usually sapphire, so they're not going to scratch, not off the bracelet. I don't think they will. So what's your thought on Dan Henry 1962 Panda? Maybe somebody can chime in. I don't have any thoughts on it. Maybe somebody can chime in, some of these experts in the chat. Hello, buddy. How are you coping with the heat? It was too humid yesterday, wasn't it? Okay. Yesterday was real nice here where I am. For some reason, scratches on watches don't bother me, but scratches on my car have to get fixed. No, there you go. Yeah, I've got some scratches on the car too. I was offered $11,500 2 days ago for the Kermit, and my kids didn't agree with me sell it. Well, if it's a clear deal with no expenses, you're going to get $11,500 clear. I would take the money and the heck with what the kids say. I would take the money and run. That's a good deal, and you got all that use out of the watch, and you're coming out of it clean. Come sell at the top, folks. Sell at the top. Bloody roasting. Okay. All right, we're going to wrap this up. Anybody have any questions? Put them in the chat because we're going to wrap it up. What do you think about the new Seiko Prospex LX series, spring drive and titanium, but GS prices? I would skip on those. I'd just go ahead and get a GS, personally. If you can find a GS that you really like, I think I'd rather go there. That's just like the same thing where I wouldn't buy a Tudor, right? I'd just rather just go ahead and buy a Rolex. Buy the real thing. That's what I'd do. One more time check, and then we're going to wrap this puppy up. Okay, so one more question. Have any high-end dress shoes laying around? Yes, I have some Churches, custom grade that I love and wear. I have some others from Johnson & Murphy that are pretty good. Probably the nicest are the Churches custom grade. I sold my Gucci's. But yeah, I love those. Let me grab them real quick. I'll show you. These are what they call ranch oxhide, and I really like the grain and the look of them. I mean, they're not super dressy because they're wingtip, but they're dressy enough for me. For when I wear a suit and tie and so forth, I like these, and nice soles on them. So these are Churches custom grade, and I do have a video here on my channel talking about them, and I keep these in pretty much mint condition, ready to go at any time. So there you go. Those would be my favorites. And Churches was sold out to another company, I think Prada or somebody bought them out some years ago, and somebody said their quality has gone downhill or whatever. I don't know if they have or haven't. These shoes are probably 30 years old. So they were bought back in the day, but yeah, I like the Churches. If I was buying stuff today, I would probably buy Alden's dress shoes from Alden Shoe Company. I think that'd be your best bet. Made in the USA here. I think they still make some really good shoes. Let's see here. It's been with me as an EDC for 11 years now. All the sentimental value has no price for them. Great show, thanks. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. And that's going to be a wrap for today's show. And everybody have a good weekend. If I don't do a show over the weekend, everybody have a great one. That's how that works. Thanks, everybody. Got married in a pair of those 32 years ago, Steve in the house. Well, there you go. Well done. Thanks for watching, everybody.